There
Oh,
we are. What's going
there
on?
we go. It worked.
Yeah. All right. We got it running. I'm Ryan. That's Jared next to me. Oh, point that way. There we go. We are statistically opinionated, and we're happy to be back. We're going to talk sports, stats, opinions, and who knows what else will come along the way. What's going on, man?
It's been a while, man. We haven't done this in a few months. Definitely
Yeah.
ready to yap some sports and opinions and kind of get into a new little vibe here, talking some shit, and you better have some numbers to back it up. So that's
Yeah. And
kind of where
then
I'm
even
going
if you
here.
do, if you got some numbers to back it up, we might not like it anyways. That's why the opinionated's in there.
Yeah, exactly. That's generally how this works, right?
Yep. So what's going on to anybody that's watching? Based off the little circle up there, I'm going to go with no yet. But you can find us over on our page on Facebook, Statistically Opinionated. I think Jared's trying to share it right now over to the Ready Break page. I don't
Yeah,
know how
it's not
that's coming
sharing over to
along
the
for you.
page. I'll get it here in a second. It's not wanting to share over
Okay.
to the page just yet, but we'll
No
figure it
worries
out.
at all. And then we'll talk at the end about how you can find us after the show if you want to listen to us for some reason because you're a crazy maniac and enjoy hearing us in the silence of nothing else. But
There we
we'll get
go.
right on it. We'll get
Shake
right
it.
on it, man. Let's go straight to the NBA. NBA, we got playoffs coming up. They got most of them's like what, less than 10 games. I think we're looking at like 6 to 8 games left in the season for most teams.
Yeah, I think as of Thursday, there were 10 games remaining. And, I don't think they have any more back to backs next couple of days. But yeah, should be going up about 8 games remaining, 9 games remaining. So about 2 weeks out, give or take.
Yeah, yeah. So it's been a season. There's been some ups and downs. I'm not going to say I followed it 100% because I can't keep to basketball the whole time. There's just a lot of games going on. But currently, you got Philly in the East leading it, and then you got Phoenix, who not really a surprise there. They've kind of been on top all season, leading out in the West. You got Miami as second in the East. They've kind of crapped the bed here in the past week. I think they've lost 4 or 5 straight, which isn't working out for them. But hopefully they'll figure it out. At least on my end, it'll make NBA more enjoyable if I can watch my team in it. Memphis out there is second in the West, which is a team that hasn't had Jaw for a while, and they're still looking good out there. I don't know. Talk more about play-in stuff because that's kind of the big talk when it comes to the end of this. You got 4 teams in the East: Cleveland, Brooklyn, Charlotte, and Atlanta right now. And then in the West, the big names would be you got Minnesota out there, the Clippers, but LA and New Orleans also vying for a spot to get in. Mainly LA is the one to talk about because you got LeBron out there, you got Anthony Glassbones Davis out there, and Westbrook just stinking up a storm out there in LA.
Yeah, man. I mean, since the last time we talked, we were still shitting all over the Lakers anyway. And they haven't really I would say probably upset. I mean, they're kind of performing as a lot of people would have expected. Um, it's hard to compete when you can't put your I'll air quote the big three, but when you can't put your best players on the court for the bulk of the season, you're probably not going to compete, especially in the West right now. Kind of diverting back to what you're talking about the Heat. Seems like there's a little bit of turmoil within the ranks of the Heat right now. There's a big I say that with Udonis Haslem being like your big, you know,
Yeah.
22-year vet. I mean, but with spats between Butler and Spoelstra, you kind of wonder if they can bring it together before the playoffs begin. But man, great time to be an NBA fan. The Nets suck. The Lakers suck. So 99% of NBA fans love that. And I'm going to take this time to protest that I do to say that I believe Ja Morant is going to become my favorite player in basketball. I usually kind of jump players. I don't really follow teams as close. I've been a Shaq fan my whole life. Been a big LeBron fan. And I think I finally found the player that I want to take the reins from LeBron. So I'm probably going to be following the Grizzlies a little bit
All right.
closer. I
He's
will
fun
not
to
jump on the
watch.
bandwagon until they win. So I'll at least
He's a
put
lot
it
of
out
fun to
there.
watch, though. He goes out there. It kind of reminds me a bit of like Vince Carter back in the day, coming out in the league and just all over the place, man. Just I'm not going to say he's MVP. I don't know about that. He's getting close though. He's coming up there.
If they
You can
weren't
kind of see
16
him.
and 2 without him, I would say he's the absolute MVP. But the fact that they just keep winning regardless
Yeah.
is kind of crazy. Kind of tough to make that call, which I hope we kind of go into that whole discussion about some MVP talks here.
I didn't click that, did I? Oh, I did click it.
Oh, you
Well,
did.
Kenny said, "Let's go Peacocks," but it's not looking good for them. Second half, 3.5 minutes remaining. They're down 14. It'd be fun to watch though. They've been a blast. kind of taking it off the note there. I follow players kind of like you. I've been a Heat fan my whole life, but following players seems to be a lot more fun in the NBA. And I'm still on the Giannis train. I love watching that guy play basketball. He just loves playing basketball,
I mean,
and it makes it enjoyable.
I know you love watching big man basketball too. Kind of going back into your roots. It's just it's hard to not want to watch him succeed. Just being a 7-footer who plays all 5 positions fairly well. So,
Yep.
it's kind of crazy, man. Like, I don't really know who my pick would be to take it all right now. To be honest with you, if you'd asked me 2 months ago or a month ago, I probably would have said the Heat or the Bulls, even for that matter, of being a team. I do think the East is going to produce another winners because I think the West is going to beat the shit out of themselves throughout this last week and a half and throughout the playoffs. So I'm definitely
Yeah,
curious.
it's going to be tough for the West out there. I was actually just about to ask you who you were going to pick if you had to pick one right now to take it all.
If I had to take any team, I'm going to go with the Bucks anyway because I think when Giannis turns it on, he can't be stopped.
Fair
I'm
enough.
just you're coming off. They know how to win a championship. Hopefully, he's learned to take care of his body through the first 82 to 90 games of the season, and to flip the switch whenever it counts. So, I mean, that's kind of the flavor of the NBA now is saving your body till the playoffs. So, um, if I had to pick, I would go with the Bucks because they've been together, they've played well. But let me next episode, I'll have probably a better guess or a more solid pick. But yeah,
Kenny's on here. Kenny says the Bucks. It's hard to disagree, especially the fact that they've done it and he knows how to do it. Phoenix has also been just all year long. They've been a dominant team. There really haven't been any downs for them. So, and they've done it without Booker for quite some time. I know he missed some games throughout the year too, and they're still leading the league in wins right now by a lot. I mean, Philly's got 46 wins. Phoenix has 60. Like it's not even close. But
oh yeah, they're dominating, but it all
it's not
changes.
crunch time.
It's not playoff time, and it's for a diehard NBA fan and basketball fan, like it is 2 different leagues because
Yep.
come April, the NBA changes drastically. That's where in the talks of the greats when they truly come out, and it, for a lack of better terms, they start playing defense. So,
Yeah.
um,
There you go.
these guys will start being a little more aggressive, and taking more chances with their bodies, and the game changes drastically. You just got to get in, except for the play-in game because those 9 and 10 seeds or 8 and 9 seeds, sorry, they're me is probably a better way to put that. But yeah, the
You
Suns
never.
playing phenomenal ball right now.
It makes more of a Cinderella situation for those guys that maybe they get into a series, but you still got to go against the number one seed, which is going to hurt you every day of the week. There's a reason they're number one. And to that note about the playoffs, you win 70 games in the season doesn't mean you're going to win the championship, and that's been proven before as well.
The Warriors wrote that book, yeah. So that's kind of I've been there, done that kind of thing. Yeah, a lot of craziness coming out of you. Got 2 teams out of the West that are just absolutely stacked. I'm looking over my shoulder here, just kind of how I have my TV set up. But I mean, I think there's 3 teams in the West that are relevant, if you will. Golden State's kind of dropping off with the Curry injury, and I don't know if they're going to be able to put it together when it matters. But with the Jazz, the Grizzlies, and the Suns are tough. But the
Yeah.
East, I look at 5 teams in the East and legitimately think they have a shot at winning. And you got the fact that the Nets are 8 overall. The mandate, has just been lifted in New York as of
Yep.
I think it's official as of yesterday.
Yep.
Well,
Kyrie can
for the
start playing.
yeah, but now we throw in the but. I don't think the Nets can win, but I think they're a team that you come in as an 8 seed, or maybe you play the number 2 team. You're going to throw a wrench in the mix there, but I still don't think the Nets are good enough to win.
I think I said it to you when they did the whole big 3 there. Of course, Harden's gone now, and Simmons is just a head case of basketball. That I think he could help the team the most because defensively, he's the only defensive player on that team. But I told you when those 3 got together originally, I was like, they better score 150 points because the other team's going to score 149 every game.
Oh,
Defensively, they're just horrendous to look at.
oh yeah, I mean, just a week ago, and I'd have to pull up the game to even really matter, or to care. But I think you had a 70 some points that was it between Durant and Kyrie, and they still lost by 8.
Yep, it wasn't even close.
And just I say that as it's they lost to the Grizzlies 132 to 20, and you had 70 points between Durant and Kyrie. So
yep.
you can score all the points in the world, but you're absolutely right. When you're giving up 132 a game, you're going to be hurting. And just looking at their last 10 games, oh God, it's bad. It's so bad. I mean, only 2 times they've given up less than 100 points, and they lost both of those games. So
There you go. Jeff just commented on there, but Carolina does officially end St. Peter's Peacocks run in the NCAA, which was fun to watch. Um, all right, so talking NBA, if you've got an MVP right now, what are you thinking?
Um, it is a regular season award, and I'm going to go
Yep.
out and say it. If the Lakers make the playoffs, and LeBron's going to have to win the scoring title to do it, they will go in. But
Okay.
I think it's only if he wins the scoring title. I'm not saying he's the best player in the league right now, but I think if they do make the playoffs, which they're still kind of flirting with that play-in game, last seed kind of stuff, and he wins the scoring title, he gets it. Now, do I think he's the best player in the league right now? No, I think. What was it? You got Joker over at the Jazz. Embiid's fairly well, and then John Morant is just playing outside of his nugget right now. So
Giannis isn't looking bad either. If you ask me, I'd have to pick Embiid. I think he's second in points per game for the year, behind LeBron. I think LeBron's leading the points per game category right now. His team's also first in the conference, which, yeah, they've got Harden now, but they didn't have him all year, so obviously he got there somehow. I think Embiid's kind of come a long way from what he originally was when he joined the league. I think it's funny you said the East has like 5 teams, because you think back like 5, 6 years ago, the East may have had one team that was going to actually challenge anything.
well, I mean, since the dominance of the Bulls in the late '90s, generally when we talk about the East, it's one or two teams every time. It's either a
Yep.
LeBron-led team or the Celtics, coming through. I
Yep.
mean, it was just you didn't really talk about it, but one or two teams, and now it's definitely a role reversal over the last
Yeah.
2 or 3 years.
It's fun watching all these younger guys coming into the league and just changing the game. Just kind of making it better. It's making it a lot more exciting. And the 3 guys I have for MVP are all big guys, which makes it super enjoyable for me, because big guy basketball is kind of back in a way.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I've got
You just want to
Embiid,
stick with Embiid?
Joker,
Oh, and Joker. Okay.
Embiid, Joker, and Giannis. Those are my 3 guys. I
Yeah.
think Embiid gets it. He took that team that had to deal with Simmons deciding he didn't want to play basketball for 3 quarters of the basketball season. That's he took. They're not a bad team. I'm not saying they're bad, and he's the only reason, but he's a big reason they made it that far.
Yeah, I'm actually coming across right here. Like, I don't know if Giannis had been scoring as well as he has this year. So
Yeah, I think he's third, right?
he's
Third in points per game.
29.7 per game, and Embiid's
Yep.
29.8. LeBron's 30.
Yep.
Then you even right behind those guys, you got 5, 6 other players that are scoring over 27 points a game right now, which is
Yeah. It's insane.
it's
It's an offense. It's an offensive league. We know it is. We can talk about the years of 90-point basketball games in the NBA, but it's not very common anymore.
you score 90, you don't win. So
Yeah, exactly.
plain and simple.
All right, so we kind of hit on it a little bit. NCAA tournament's going on right now. We're down to the Final Four next weekend. You're going to have Villanova, Kansas, and Duke. And Duke, I think, is playing North Carolina. So Duke, North Carolina in a tournament game for the Final Four with Coach K's last season. This is it for him. Out of those 4, just a wild guess. I know both of us aren't huge college basketball buffs. Who you throwing out there?
Who do I want to see win it all? Like, I want to see.
I know you.
Yeah, I want to see 2 things happen right here, right? I mean, to see Duke go out and win would be kind of cool. Just to say, watching Coach K leave and go out on a win. I mean, it's kind of written in the books. Even though we can have a whole discussion about how I feel like the NCAA is kind of bending the will of a lot of teams and a lot of brackets right now to try to get Duke there because they want to see it happen. But
Yeah, of course they do.
I would love to see Duke win, but I can tell you what I think I'd like to see more, just because I'm kind of the the asshole of watching sports. I'd love to see North Carolina beat them by 30 points.
Just beat them down?
Just beat the brakes
Oh,
right
man.
off of them, man. Because I think my favorite storyline of the year is that last home game for Duke, and just North Carolina just brushing them right off the court, right in front of like 100 former players, and just, oh man.
It was like $3 grand for a ticket to the game, like absolute insanity. People paying to go watch it, which I get it. You know, Coach K's been there forever. I have never known another Duke basketball coach. How about that? I can say that.
Yeah, I can't name one before, and I mean the guy that's taken over him right now he's been on the staff for a few years. No clue who he is. So he's been
Yeah.
here longer than I've been alive, and there's a lot of gray hair in these little patches of hair you see here. So, but yeah, I would say the winner of the tournament comes out of Duke, UNC, just because of experience over the last couple of years. I mean, you got Villanova coming in, with, I think he's actually had a couple of runs over the last couple of years, but
Yep.
I mean, NCAA thrives when you have these big schools, these big names coming in. So I'd say the winner
Yeah, I mean, you can't. It happened, and the NCAA is probably overly excited that Duke and North Carolina are playing each other again in the Final Four. Duke's or Coach K's possible last game. He's going to walk on the court. Who knows what'll happen? I want to see Duke win it just for that fact. Like, I think that's fun. I know Jeff won't like that. He's a big Tar Heel fan, but they'll get another chance. It'll happen. Coach K probably not going to.
I feel like I should throw it out there because you let off this little segment with that we're not big college basketball fans, which is an absolute true statement. I mean, I'm a huge basketball fan in general. I love watching.
I don't follow it,
but
as much.
It's hard, man. Like with everything that goes on, if Duke's starting five will be in the NBA next year, and I don't think there's a sophomore that's out there. Like, that's kind of the reason I don't really get into it anymore. I mean, I love watching college football because you get those guys for 2 or 3 years. The turnaround's not so abrupt and quick. But I don't want to put it out there like I don't watch basketball, because I will absolutely be watching the next 2 games or 3 games of this tournament. I'll be definitely dialed in, but it's just not quite the product you get out of an NBA game. So.
No, not at all. I was actually telling my wife that watching, I think last weekend, I forget what game we were watching. I was like, there's a lot of, I don't want to say bad basketball. I'm not a professional by any means, but I played basketball a lot of my life. And there's a lot of basketball that happens in the NCAA that you're just like, oh. Watching the Auburn game last weekend was tough to watch as someone who's loved basketball his whole life. Cause I was like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah. And, just in general fashion of you and I watching games, I wanted to send the message out, but like I had nothing to back it up other than going, oof, they lost. So
they didn't oof. They just completely decided, nah, we're not going to play sound fundamental basketball and give it to Miami, who tore them apart.
This is kind of this is good enough right here. We'll stop right here. So.
All right, on to the big topic. I guarantee you we could talk for hours about what's happened over the last, 2 weeks, I think, 2.5 weeks of NFL free agency starting back up and everybody going everywhere. So I'll kick it off with kind of the big talk, which started it was just Rodgers extending there in Green Bay. I guess maybe we'll call it the first domino or something, but him deciding to stay. And I don't know. I think money was the factor. I think he's going to get paid wherever he goes, though. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't think anybody would deny the fact that no matter where Aaron Rodgers went, he was going to get paid $40-50 million. It was going to happen. There's quarterbacks making $40 million, and he deserves to be one of them if you're writing those checks. I thought he was going to stay in Green Bay for two reasons. One, he's already there, right?
Yep.
He did have a 13-win season, although their playoff run was just non-existent. But he is an egomaniac, right? This guy is all about his image. He is a very selfish individual, and there's nothing wrong with it, because you kind of got to have some of those those characteristics, if you will, to kind of be in the position he is. But I think he wants to be a guy who stays in Green Bay his whole career. He played for one team his whole career, which is huge to say that, especially in today's league. I don't think it was any surprise. And I kind of hope we talk about the Devontae Adams thing. Like, you've got to pay Aaron Rodgers, because in a part that I want to discuss here in a few minutes, the one piece on the field you can't afford to not replace is the quarterback. You can change coaches, you can change everything out there, but you can't afford to not replace a quarterback, and you had to pay him. And he's in Green Bay, and I think we'll see him for 2 more years, and he'll be done. He'll get $100 million. Won't win another. He's not going to the Super Bowl. I made that mistake. If one of our previous shows, and we talked about this about 6 or 7 months ago, and I made the pick for them to win the Super Bowl, and I will not be making that mistake again.
I just want to say I picked the Rams. It worked out. But we'll
Only
continue
like
on.
3 or 4 people picked the Rams to win, so you're good.
So yeah, I mean he's getting paid. I think he's what it's 42 million this year, 59 and a half next year, and 49.3 like the year after. So he's getting big money. They're big cap hits, and we'll move right into the next issue that falls with it, which we could talk about it because I don't think it was just Aaron Rodgers re-signing and the money he took as to why Adams went to the Raiders. Like obviously maybe that affected him. I'm not sure, but I think Rodgers may have known that Adams was done in Green Bay and he was going to go make some money out elsewhere. Um, that might be why he took more money. But also Green Bay, I think Green Bay offered Adams the money he wanted. They offered to make him the highest paid wide receiver in the league. He didn't take it. He wanted to go somewhere else, and now you're left wondering who the hell Rodgers is going to throw to. Because on that note, what is it? Valdez Scantling, also now a Kansas City Chief.
Yeah.
So I don't know who he's going to throw the football to, but guess what? He's in Green Bay, and he's still Aaron Rodgers, and he can call himself that all he wants for the next couple of years, and he'll go down in history as one of the greatest QBs. But I don't see him winning a Super Bowl again.
I don't see it. So I'm going to kind of go off on our. We got plenty of time to talk about this. This is kind of the things I've been building up, and I've been excited to talk about. Right.
Oh yeah.
So they offered him $23 million a year, Devontae Adams. Because we're going to get into this. Obviously, I'm a Dolphins fan, and we're going to be talking paying wide receivers here shortly. But they offered him $23 million a year, which would at the time would have made him the highest paid receiver in football. Right. Is he worth $23 million a year? Because we haven't had to say him with the guys over at Ready Break with Brandon and Zach about don't pay running backs, and I believe that. Do we not pay wide receivers, or do we pay
I
wide receivers, or do they? I'm not, the we, my French came out there a little bit, but do they pay wide receivers? And I'm kind of going to go why I don't think Devontae Adams is worth a $25+ million contract. $28 million is what he got. So I'm kind of curious to your thought on that before we even dive a little more.
So yeah, we've talked about the don't pay running backs thing, and I think the trend there for teams that realize that is you draft a running back you know you're going to get for 4 or 5 years, a workhorse that can do the job for you, and then maybe you do resign him and you trade him with the intentions of resigning him, like you know that's going to happen, or you just let him go and you're on to the next draft pick because there's wide receivers and running backs that come out of college every year that are usable. So I agree with you. I don't think a wide receiver is worth that much. Look at Pittsburgh. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger's been throwing to wide receivers for as long as I can remember now, and those guys come in and they're back out the next time once they start raising hell about money and contracts.
Yeah, I mean that's anybody who plays in a Steelers uniform. So
Yep.
yeah, you go on Twitter, you start tweeting and twitting about stuff, and you start talking about a paycheck, they're going to get rid of you. But so here's why I bring up Devontae Adams, and I've made this. We have a group chat with you and another buddy, Johnny, that we talk to, and we always make this comment. It's like Devontae Adams is great. He had a good season last year at 1,500 yards and 11 touchdowns. He's only led the league in any major category once ever in his career. So I don't think the man's worth the most you can pay a wide receiver. If we're saying that the best wide receiver in the league gets paid the most, like obviously Cooper Kupp deserves the bag right now. Cooper Kupp's
Triple crown, right?
Triple crown, right? So I would say that Aaron Rodgers absolutely knew he wasn't going to be there. And Devontae probably even just made it, probably made some lewd comment about I want the bag, and if you offer it, I'm still going to take it. And now he's reunited with Carr down in the Raiders, which got significantly better in the hardest division in football. But I'm going to say that Aaron Rodgers puts up the same numbers without him. He doesn't need him. That's defenses are going to have a few more options to spread out. But I know I'm kind of scattered on that a little bit, but I think he's overpaid, man. Like it just for who you're going to pay. I can probably name 3 or 4 receivers that deserve that kind of money over Devontae Adams, and none of those receivers are going to be in Green Bay, and going to the Raiders doesn't actually change what they're going to be doing. So
No, I honestly I think this year we'll find out if Rodgers finds a new receiver this year that let's say 12 to 1,400 yards and 10 touchdowns. Well, guess what? They just maybe Aaron Rodgers is the key to making a receiver. You know what I mean? Like maybe he's the guy. He's throwing dimes right in there, and you just got to catch the ball and do what he says. Who knows? I agree with you though. I don't think paying a receiver is worth it. I think there's some steals you can go out and get. And talking steals, I think Kansas City got a great deal. They went out and picked up Juju for what seems like pennies on the crazy button that he's going to mash around down there. But they get a good receiver out of him, and they didn't have to pay Hill, who we're going to go down the line and talk about because he's going to get the bag down there in Miami.
And we'll go ahead and just roll into that. And I will tell you my feelings on the Tyreek Hill. I think both parties made out in that deal with the Dolphins and the Chiefs. Right, the Dolphins had the draft capital; they gave it up. That draft capital did nothing to them because those were all traded picks that they had picked up over the last.
Yeah, exactly. The
15
Tunsil
years.
picks, right?
Yeah, the Tunsil picks, right? I think he's still starting in the league. I think. So I guess I'm going to say I'm on the Mahomes train. I think he's that good, and I don't think he needs a Tyreek Hill to be a 4,500,
No,
5,000 yard guy. I think he's good enough that he builds up the talent around him. Are they going to have to change some things? Yes, but that's what good coaches do, and that's what good
I don't
offenses
think they're
do.
going to have to. They picked up big. What's his name? Juju. They still got Kelsey, and they picked up MVS. And you're just adding on to the guys they have. I think it's still a
I mean, I think you might see him open up the field a little bit because Mahomes notoriously, I mean, he's got the big shot arm, that throws down the field, but they notoriously throw less than 15, 20 yards and let their players do
yep.
what they do. So, I mean, I think if anything, who knows? I mean, it could be an early prediction that he has even a better season without him. But yeah, I think the Chiefs made out like a bandit in that. And in turn, I'm going to say it again: the Dolphins got significantly better and
Oh
gave
yeah.
up picks that they could absolutely afford to give up. Now they gave him $30 million a year, and that's a whole nother. Kind of goes back to what I'm saying about Devontae Adams. Tyreek Hill's not the best receiver in football.
No.
Not even close. He's the biggest threat in football, and I truly do believe that at the receiver position. I should probably say that. The most explosive player. I think he's got more. Was it 25 plays or touchdowns of greater than 50 yards, which is like 10 more than any other team in the NFL, like over the
There you
last
go.
4 or 5 years. It's something absurd like that. But
So it
that's what
makes
he
a
does.
difference.
Yeah. So I'm definitely curious how that works out. But
I think I saw a nice poster for the Dolphins. Legion of Zoom
I
is what I
like it,
saw them
man.
put up there, and man, they're fast. I'll give them that.
I will say, I just hope it doesn't negate any of Jalen Waddle's development as a receiver because I think there were a lot of people at the draft, on draft day, myself included, when there were a lot of people coming off the draft board last year. And when they took Jalen Waddle as a top 10 pick, yes, top 10. And I wouldn't say question marks, but you're like, man, he's good, but, there's a lot of players out here. So last year he had a phenomenal season. So I hope this doesn't, hinder his development is all I ask of this because Tyreek Hill's not going to be a Dolphin after like 2025. It's just not going to, though his contract's written that they just paid him a shit ton of money over the next 2 or 3 years and they'll cut him. So it's,
Move on.
they'll
You
move
move
on.
on. That's what you do. Wide
Mm.
receivers and running backs, they kind of get slower. Maybe that's the thing. They're not all Larry Fitzgeralds. I can tell you that.
Oh man. Oh, I can't wait for a conversation when it comes to that. I love some Fitzgerald. So
All right, so we talked Rogers. Then you had, I guess you'd call it another big blockbuster. I don't know what Seattle got out of it, I guess, but Wilson going to Denver. I think Denver got Wilson in a fourth rounder, and then Seattle got Drew Lock, who Denver's been hoping would be good for a couple years now. Noah Fant is they got a good tight end out of that deal. 2 first rounders, 2 second rounders, and a fifth rounder. So I mean, it's a lot of draft capital moving for a quarterback who we've both talked about. I think is out of his prime. I don't think he is I don't want to say a Super Bowl quarterback because he's a Super Bowl quarterback. He's obviously won one and lost in one and made the key error of throwing an interception to win a football game and a Super Bowl and the greatest trophy you could as a football player. But I don't think he's in that heyday anymore. Although he thinks so. I think he said 12, 14 more years of playing football.
So here we go. Unpopular opinion. If you're a Broncos fan or a Seattle fan, one thing I can't take away from you. All right, Seattle side. The dude has a chip. And anybody who knows me,
Yep.
I'm not talking anything sports, we talk chips, right? If you bring any kind of discussion to the table, to have an opinion, we talk chips. That's just how it works. So he's got one.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson's overrated. And I'm going to tell you straight up he's overrated. The dude's got like 4 seasons of his career over 4,000 yards, which is if you don't throw for 4,000 yards in today's NFL, you are a scrub. All right. I'm
I
like,
love it.
that's how this works. So Seattle made out like a bandit. They are obviously not going to win anything this year because just dumping this dude and going on to something else. Pete Carroll's going to be the next to go because he's 163 years old, I believe, come April. And you're going to have to get away from him. But I will tell you right now, I'm off
I
the
love
Russell
it.
Wilson hype. Broncos, I'm sorry. You are going to get these shit beat out of you all year because you got 6 games of a gauntlet you've got to go through all year. And I don't know if he might not even be the third or fourth. Where do you put him at in that division as far as quarterbacks go?
Last, dead
Absolutely
last.
dead last. And I have no problem saying that. And
I he has a Super Bowl. I got it. Don't you can't take that away. You said that. I can say that. We talk about it. He has a Super Bowl. Fantastic. He is dead last in stats compared to the other 3 quarterbacks in that league. Just that league alone. So yeah, do I think the Broncos actually upgraded from Drew Lock? Yeah. Um, do I think the Broncos have no idea how to draft a quarterback? Yes. They haven't figured it out since what, John Elway?
I mean, they'll admit to it though. That's the even better part. Like, we'll just wait for the Mannings to come off the shelf here. It's just you can't compare a Russell Wilson year 10. I think he's in his 10th season, 11 going into his
Yeah, it
11,
sounds about right.
2012 draft class, and it's just not the same. And then you're doing it at a time when the other 3 teams in your division are just absolutely stacking the bag right now, and they are getting stupid good. So
It's a wild division. I've got 2 pages of free agency moves over the last like 2 weeks, and we're at the very top of it. Yeah, I saw that on there, and I'll tell you what, Jeff. I think he stays there because Seattle needs to act like they're gonna maybe have a possibility to do something, but I don't think it's gonna work out for him other than making some money.
I think it's a bad message to send to your fan base when you're within 5 or 6 years of a Super Bowl, and to get rid of I mean, okay, we're gonna digest a little bit here. Bobby Wagner was an absolutely phenomenal talent, and the fact that
Cut.
you cut him, maybe the best inside linebacker in the game right now, right? I mean, the dude's phenomenal. I wanted him to be a Dolphin so bad. When they were starting to throw some money, I was like, give him that. If there's any position to fill right now outside of quarterback, start filling the gaps there on that defense. You cut him. So who is the next player you look forward to in a Seattle uniform? Because I can name about 3 of them right now. You cut if you trade DK Metcalf, you're sending a bad message to your fan base. So I would say you keep them because let them know that you're still thinking that you want to win a game at some point in the next 2 or 3 years. But the smart move is probably to trade him out, get your picks, because there are plenty of teams that would absolutely die to have him on their team, i.e., like the Green Bay Packers would give up some draft pick and have a DK Metcalf immediately. And then, I mean, now we're just getting the full circle again, as far as Aaron Rodgers going.
We paying wide receivers
We're
still?
paying wide receivers again. So, but yeah, I don't know, man. Thanks. Hey, thanks, Tony. I'm not going to post that up there, but that's a perfect comment, man. I love it. Miss you, buddy. It's been a long time since I've seen you. So yeah, I can't get on this whole nonsense of Russell Wilson and this crap. So let's move on to another player. Actually, I don't like Russell Wilson. I'll just say it out loud. I said it. I feel better now that I said it. So
Fair enough. All right then. All right. Next, we'll move on. Wentz to Washington. Left the Colts. I think the Colts actually made out. They get what do they get? Third round.
just a third round pick,
Another.
wasn't it?
Yeah, no, they got quite a few. They got a third round, and then third round that could be a second round if he plays so much, and then a second round the year after. So they actually got a bit for someone who I believe held them back completely last year and ever making a chance to. I thought they'd make the playoffs. Who's going to lose to Jacksonville at the end of the year? But whatever. And a team that I believe is actually pretty good. I don't think they're that bad. I think the Colts are set up to win. And of course, what did they do? They went out and got old Matty Ice down the road, paid him some money. I still think Matt Ryan can be a good quarterback in the proper situation. Do I think he's going to lead your team as the superstar? No, but they've got plenty of guys to be superstars that can take that role. He just needs to protect the football and hopefully have a couple guys on the line that aren't going to allow guys to run through and sack him because he gets sacked a lot. But Wentz to Washington, I don't think that helps Washington. I mean, now they choose from who? Wentz. Who else is there? Fitzpatrick. Is he still down there? Old
Uh,
Fitzy.
dude, I mean, he had hip surgery and he's 100, so like he's done. Like, I mean, Wentz is the only quarterback that. I mean, Heineke, is he still there? Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah, Heineke. There you
yeah.
go. There you
Um,
go. So between the three of them, they might have a complete body and a complete mind to possibly run an NFL offense. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't even have
I,
an answer for that.
I mean, the fact that the division they're in, I mean, who knows? Like he has the one factor that you and I have agreed upon over and over about the desirable attributes of a quarterback. He's a gigantic dude with a gigantic arm. Now
Yep.
he don't know what to do with it, but that's
Yeah.
at least you got that. I would say that's the pro of the trade. The con is he's Carson Wentz and he's made of glass. So
And he
um,
looks like a hot dog when he goes to pressers. I don't know if you guys have
as
seen the picture.
I
If
wish
you
we
haven't,
I
if
wish
you
we'd have
haven't
brought that
seen
up.
the picture, get on there. You got hot dog Wentz going to his press conference talking about the Commanders. That's right, man.
Yeah.
People got calling him Washington. Man, that might be what I stick with. Commanders sounds dumb to me.
I, I say I protest. We keep calling them the Redskins, so let's.
They're now the Washington Commies.
Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna throw some numbers out to you with
All right, give them to
four
me. There we
four
go.
thousand yards, 20 touchdowns, and 12 picks. Mediocre season, right? That's pretty mediocre.
That's all
That's
he had to do, though. They weren't asking him to be a
oh,
55 and 50.
that's Matt Ryan's season last year, and it's his worst
Ah,
year in 13 years.
there you
So
go.
I think I told you before the show started, I was going to ask you a question that, I didn't want you to like have a lot of time to prepare for it. So I want to kind of go do this, and we're going to break down other games, guys. So don't think that we're going to, for anybody who's listening and watching, we're not going to just stop talking about this, but I want to jump to this now. Who has had the best offseason in the NFL so far? You can give a quick little bit of why you think they are, but like I'm glad you brought up the Colts because I wanted to bring that up. Like who got better where they needed it, and let's say I don't know.
I got two teams. Two teams.
Okay,
I can't decide which one got the bestest in my perfect grammar that I'm going to throw out there on the internet for everybody to hear. But the Chargers went out and picked up two dudes on defense that they need a defense.
absolutely.
Herbert can't throw the ball 90 times a game and score you 90 touchdowns. And that's the only way they're winning right now. So I think the Chargers went out, and it sucks that every other team in their division decided they wanted to win a Super Bowl this year too. So they're kind of in this beat up division. But Cincinnati also went out and picked up linemen so that Joe Burrow's knees will last one more season in the NFL and possibly give him something. Because if he's getting hit every game the way he was, we've watched the NFL long enough to know he's not going to last.
No.
But those two teams to me, I think went out and I think they hit the points they needed to. They got guys that they needed to help the team win. To even if it is that, I mean, for Cincinnati, what's the next step? A Super Bowl, right? Win the Super Bowl,
It's
not
win or
make it.
bust. You're already at win or bust.
And they've got guys on rookie contracts left and right that are doing it, so they can go out and just pick up whatever they need. And I thought they did a good job. And then the Chargers need defense. That's
So I'm going to throw out probably 4 or 5 teams here, and
ah.
there's a theme. There's a theme, and they're totally off of what you're saying there. The only reason I don't put the Chargers there is because they absolutely need a defense. What they need is defensive play calling and stop going for it on 4th down every time you get the opportunity. All right. The Chargers are playing Madden in real life, is what they're doing. Okay.
All right, here, I'm going to pay you to be the Chargers coach next year, all right? You'll
I'm
make league minimum.
trying to buy a house up in Dallas right now, so I will take league minimum right now. So that'd be perfect. The number one team who has had the best offseason, the Buccaneers. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they don't have to look for another quarterback.
That's true.
TB12 came back. We're going to talk about that here in just a few minutes. I guarantee it. Because
he's down the list here.
He's kind of starting that Jordan. Hey, I'm going to retire. Coming back. Just kidding. I love the game.
I was bored.
I was bored for 43 days. So the Bucs didn't have to go out and essentially sign Baker Mayfield because that's what I thought was going to happen. I thought they were going to do a sign and trade or trade and sign, however you want to go with that. So I would say Bucks has had the best offseason because they don't have to rebuild under center at least for one more year, which will probably be 2 or 3 more years. All right. I'm also going to go with the Browns because you got a better quarterback. I don't know when he's going to play. I don't know if you want to have that discussion today, we can. I don't know if Deshaun Watson's going to see the field this year. I think he should because he's already not played for a year. Unpopular opinion. That's cool and all, but like it cost the dude $32 million already. If we put a financial stipend on, what
Oh,
is worth what you've done.
don't worry. The Browns made it up to him.
The Browns paid him. So I would say the Browns have had the best offseason because not only did they get Deshaun Watson, but they don't have to play Baker Mayfield, at least
That's true.
for the future. Maybe this
I,
season, maybe a few
I'll
games.
say this, though, for the Browns. Currently, he's still on their team, and that's a problem.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're probably. I could just imagine the guy at the gate saying, "You don't need to come in anymore. Here's your milk. Here's your milk crate full of shit. You can
Go
leave."
make a commercial somewhere else.
And then I'm glad you went into Matt Ryan because the Colts were starting to make some noise late in the year last year. They seem like a team who has coached very well, has a pretty good defense. Maybe the second best running game in football. Maybe the best. Who knows what Derrick Henry's going to be doing? This year we haven't really seen him in full force yet. But you
Whoa,
upgraded
whoa,
the
whoa,
quarterback
whoa,
position.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Hang on here. You can't even say second best. It took Taylor 4 games to pass Derrick Henry, and he didn't
Oh no,
play at all.
he's second best. I'm saying second
Yeah.
best. Like don't like that's why I'm saying
He's,
is Derrick Henry going to return because we get back into our running back conversations. Does he return to the 900 yards in 2 quarters or whatever the hell he had last year? I think it was like what 6 games that he had
yeah, and
900 yards, something
it's.
like that.
I don't think Taylor passed him till like the 10th
Oh,
or 11th
oh
game.
yeah,
So,
he passed him
when
as the
people
second.
last year we talked about this when they were talking about Taylor for MVP, I was like, you got to be shitting me, right? Derrick Henry was MVP 2 weeks ago because he was
Yeah,
still ahead of Taylor and he hadn't played in forever.
I completely agree.
Sorry, I just wanted to throw that
No,
out there.
no, I emphasize second best running game in the league. I think he is that good. He's a top 5 running back. Like he's
Yeah. Oh
pretty
yeah.
good. And they upgraded the quarterback position to a guy who knows how to win, knows how to throw. He also knows how to lose the Super Bowl, with
Yeah.
a substantial lead. But I think that team is now I mean, you got to start talking about it. They are going to make an absolute push if they stay healthy for postseason runs in the NFL. So what's that? 3 teams. We got Bucks, Browns, and
Colts.
the Colts. So now we keep going to who's getting
You want to
better.
say Miami? I want you to say Miami. I know you're going to say it,
Nope.
and I don't disagree with it.
I'm the only reason I don't say Miami is because they didn't upgrade the position that matters. I think they have had the best offseason of that I can remember in the franchise history, and I do believe that. Like
They've been spending money for
they
people.
are,
Good money though, not
they,
trash money. They're not Jags money. The Jags are over there spending millions for nothing.
oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, they're not writing those kind of checks. They're writing checks that matter right now, and they're writing checks that shows me one of two things. One, screw it, we're going to try to make something happen here. But they're trying to build around their coach, something they should have done for years and years. So I don't know if they've had the 4th or 5th best offseason. That doesn't matter. It's not to rank things like that, but that's why I think they've had the most. Their team has changed the most over the last 2 or 3 weeks, but you still got questions in places that it matters. So I just wanted to bring that up. That was something to
Nah, I
think
love
about.
it.
Of like you got to fill those quarterback roles. And notice I still haven't mentioned the Broncos. So that's
I think we completely agree that the fact that yes, Russell Wilson is as a Carolina Panthers fan, I think I've got it back there.
okay.
Would I have taken Russell Wilson? Hell yeah. Good God, please. Because right now, I don't know what we're doing at quarterback. We're just paying guys that don't play for us anymore and letting another guy just throw interceptions all day long. He's seeing 42 defenders on the field. I don't know what the hell's wrong with him.
Being ghosts. That's what it is.
But if I was a team that wanted to win, like I had a team that could win a Super Bowl, and I decided, all right, I need a quarterback right now that can get us a Super Bowl. I be honest with you, I think the Colts took a better thing and took Matt Ryan over trying to trade the house for Russell Wilson. Basically, Denver gave Seattle what Cleveland gave Houston, but Cleveland has a better chance at quarterback, and he might not play this year.
It's crazy to even think about. Yeah, I'm so glad we jumped into that. I've just been thinking about that with the whole Tom
That's
Brady
funny
stuff
because
going
your
on.
your question that is exactly what I was going to ask you. I'm
Yeah,
so glad we're on the same page there
yeah.
because I was going to be like, all right, who do you think did the best so far?
Oh yeah.
Now, of
I mean,
course, deals made right now at the beginning of the season are big deals and they help teams out, but you still got to be a football team and keep running the business throughout the whole year. So we'll see how it keeps working out
oh
because
yeah.
there's still some big guys on the table, and we haven't even continued talking. I mean, Brady's back. Holy shit! Like I thought, all right, cool. What about the guy that bought the last touchdown pass? How does he feel right now?
That's what
What
you
was it,
get for
500
spending.
and something thousand?
It's hard to feel bad for a guy who pays $500,000 for a football. You know what? He got the football he deserves for spending $500,000 on a football.
There you go.
I
There you
love it.
go. What else we got? I mean, the Packers they released who's his name? Zadarius Smith. That was another big release. I mean, they had money to pay him if they wanted to, and not only that, he goes to the Vikings of all teams to go to. If you're the Packers, you let a star player move
I
over
love it.
across the division. Ah, it's
You're
fantastic.
still riding on the cusp that Kirk Cousins is going to wait till week 17 to throw his first three interceptions because that's what's going to happen. So, um, I mean, I could talk for days just how I love numbers and crunching football stuff to talk about the Vikings. So that
All right,
that's
we haven't opened up the this, I don't even know what to call it because I guarantee you on the page the people I've talked to, they're Steelers fans. They love the Steelers. Trubisky to the Steelers. What does that do for them?
I mean, a starting Mitch Trubisky is better than a retired Ben Roethlisberger just because he's there. You know,
After
the
last year?
or they say the best ability is availability. So, I mean, I'm not saying that he's better than Big Ben right now, who probably hasn't looked at a weight room since he retired
Nah,
or the last
he's
6
been on
years.
the Big Ben diet, whatever that is. Sounds like heavy Coors and pizzas.
Nothing wrong with that, first of all. Um, I don't think it's a bad pick. I mean, I don't want to gauge anything that man did in Chicago because that's
Okay,
where careers go to die. But that you have to be thinking. I think that's where Kenny Pickett ends up. It just because,
Pittsburgh.
yeah, if I had to pick right now, which I can't wait to talk football post draft, but I do believe that's where Kenny Pickett ends up.
Man, I'm
You know,
hoping Carolina decides they want to play big boy football and maybe pick up a guy that looks like a quarterback.
which kind of there's still about what 15 teams, 16 teams that need a quarterback right now,
Yep.
um, including my Dolphins. But I think Trubisky's a good pickup. They got him fairly cheap. I don't know, who do you get instead of him? Because you don't go out and trade the bag for him. Deshaun Watson was never going to be a Steeler. For people
No.
who don't know this, Deshaun Watson and Brian Flores have the same agent, and due to the lawsuit that is going on, that Flores has against. If you didn't know, the quarterback that he met while in Miami was Deshaun Watson. I think everybody knew that, but there's a lot of ties between those two guys. That
Tua
is,
knew that.
yeah, Tua knew that, but there's a lot of ties between those guys that are actually probably going to throw some wrenches in this lawsuit that he's got going on because he knowingly met the guy and they have the same agent. So, there's too many gaps in it. So, Deshaun was never going to be a Steeler. Now, does Baker Mayfield? Do you start entertaining that? It's an interdivision, trade
I
or cut and
here's what I'd
sign.
say about that. Based off Baker Mayfield in the past month. I even before then, he's always been he was a first pick in the NFL draft. He's a Heisman Trophy winner. Like nobody's saying the guy doesn't have talent. There's plenty of Heisman Trophy winners and first round draft picks that don't play football for very long. That's just how it goes. I'm not saying Baker Mayfield's bad. I'm not saying he's not a quarterback you can play with hopes of managing a team to do a good job. But he's not a Joe Burrow that's going to jump on your team and change the whole outlook of your organization for decades on end. You know what I mean? Like he's not that guy. And if a team's going in looking for that, then they're already shooting themselves in the foot. I don't think he works well in Pittsburgh because based off of every Pittsburgh fan I met, they're loud, annoying, and they piss me off. And it sounds like Baker Mayfield would just be crying about it immediately.
Yeah. Oh no. I'm just laughing at myself. I'm looking at Baker Mayfield's stats, and I'm just like, man, his best season was 3,800 yards and 22 touchdowns. and 21 picks. Like you are trash, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, we're not saying he's amazing. I don't think he is, but
So
whatever.
I'll answer your original question with I think Trubisky's the right call. You're probably going to draft Pickett along with 4 or 5 other teams that are probably chasing Pickett right now.
Okay.
They're clearly going to draft a quarterback. I don't think there's anybody in free agency or on the trade block, if you will, that's notable. I mean, I don't really know who would even be considered. So I'm going to kind of tailor onto that question: is does Baker Mayfield make a team better right now? Is there a team that he makes better? And if so, who would it be? Because I'm hard pressed. I think the
He makes
Texans.
Carolina better. I can tell you that, and I don't want to say it.
I mean,
He makes the Texans better, yes. The problem with Baker Mayfield is Baker Mayfield believes he's 6'6", 250, and can run the football like a 4'2", 40.
he don't.
Baker Mayfield, I don't know how tall Baker Mayfield is. I'm not even gonna lie. It looks like if I see him on TV, he's about 5'5". He runs about a 7'2", 40. Can't get away from anybody. And is he efficient with the football? No, I
No,
don't
not
think
really.
so. Baker Mayfield is the reason someone like the Vikings signed Kirk Cousins to a $35 million extension for a year because they have a quarterback that can throw 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. They know he's not a superstar because if you put him on Monday, Sunday night, or Thursday night, you get a guy back there that I don't know what he does. He doesn't play football very well on those nights. But they know for the rest of those games, maybe they call the NFL every year and they're like, hey, keep us off the primetime games. This way we can actually be competitive. But he's just Baker Mayfield isn't that good. I don't know. I don't play pro sports, so I guess I'm just pulling this out of my ass and talking shit. But Baker, if you're watching this, and I know you're not, play football better. That's all I can give you, man.
If you listen to anything over the next hours, Baker Mayfield, you need to just be better. Okay, it's all we
you
ask.
you went from last year to possibly being paid like big dog money to this year. You got hurt. I'll give it to you. You were injured. You kept grinding it out. You gave them that old Cleveland try, and Cleveland gave you the best gift of all. They told you they didn't want you anymore. They paid someone $150 million, and then they let you cry on live TV and send out some weird goodbye note before anything ever happened.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at like there's 2 teams. Everybody talks Seattle, which is they're not
It
going to
could.
win. So you don't sign Baker Mayfield to win a game right now or to have a great year. But like, why don't the Jets pick him up? You have Zach Wilson. Like,
I don't know if you saw this. They have Zach Wilson, Matt White, and Joe Flacco. How could they go wrong?
I mean, I just think of any
Mike
personality.
White.
I think if there's any personality who could fit in New York, it's. I mean, hey, you want to be on a billboard and be in a commercial. It's Baker Mayfield. Like, I think he
Yeah,
just
but you
fits
got to
in the
be
Jets.
good to do that there.
But I mean, in all reality, think about the division though. You're absolutely right. But like, think about the division. You got the gauntlet of the Bills, but you got the Dolphins doing whatever the crazies they're doing. You got the Patriots, which are I
Yeah.
think absolutely a I would say falsely represented as a good team right now. But
I told you this. I've said I don't think the Dolphins are better than the Bills because what's his name still up there? I can't. Allen.
oh,
He's still quarterback. That team seems to understand that like, hey, we got a star quarterback. Let's put people around him to play football and let's win games. And let's be honest, if the NFL decided they wanted to actually make a competitive overtime rule, maybe the Bills are playing Cincinnati in the AFC Championship game, and we're not watching Allen walk off the field without ever having a chance of, making the game. That was such an awesome game. I'm just a little angry
oh,
about that. But I still
oh,
think the Dolphins are the second best team in the East right now. There's
and
no other way I can put that.
which is a better reason for Baker Mayfield to go to the Jets if the Dolphins are the second best team in the league, like or in the division. Like, um, okay, so I'm glad you said that. Von Miller getting signed to the Bills for I don't know. He's only 96 years old, and they signed him to a 6-year extension, a 6-year contract, $120 million, $50-some million guaranteed. I don't see it. I know his numbers were absolutely stacked at the end of the year, but when you're playing next to Aaron Donald, like there is a good chance that I would put up a percentage point in some statistical field if I was playing next to Aaron Donald. maybe not.
Hey,
But
I mean, let's just be honest there, though. I don't know if you saw in the news a couple weeks ago. Urban Meyer didn't even know who Aaron Donald was. So what do we all know about Von Miller making big money? You know what I mean?
fair enough.
I I agree with you. I don't know what Buffalo was thinking. Maybe they just wanted a big name out there and they were
I mean,
willing to pay. Who knows? I think it's a
big
good
money up
move. I don't
front.
think it's a bad move. Like
It's
I
a
think
lot of money.
the money for the move is where I see the issue.
I
I
mean,
think
it's a
that's my
front loaded
problem.
contract, right? So it's
Yeah.
front loaded. He's going to be. It's I think 2 years after the. I mean, it's kind of the ongoing things. After 2 years, it kind of gives him the freedom to do what he needs to do. But like, I mean, man, did dude even have a sack for the Rams? I mean, I'm trying to look see when he. Gee, his numbers are
Here,
popping.
I got you a team Baker
He did
Mayfield
have
can go
he did
to.
have 5 sacks for the Rams though.
I got
I
you a
want.
team Baker can go to, and maybe even make a difference. I don't know. San Francisco.
Oh, I mean, they gave. Yeah, I'll say this is because we don't know what old is it Lance, old Trey
Yeah,
Lance.
they don't know what they got in him. The guy played like what 5 college games, and they were like, he's the next coming of the greatest thing on earth. But if you look at Jimmy Garoppolo's numbers, he was injured what last year, so he didn't play last year. This year he played, and the year before they both went to what AFC Championship games, if I recall correctly, or NFC. Sorry,
NFC.
that's where the he threw for less than 4,000 yards, less than 30 touchdowns, and over 10 picks on both of them.
Yeah,
So he's not looking great. He's a injury liability. And I guarantee you, if he goes to Cleveland, say they just did a trade, he'll have the greatest hand in Cleveland that Cleveland's ever seen.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to get on the Jimmy G train too hard because I believe his time is about done. He's only got one full season played in his career, and I mean, you can call it last year. He played 15 games, but I mean,
It's not good.
he wins games that don't matter. Is that like he does win? Like, I mean, I don't know how to put the U.S.
They beat the New York Jets today, and Jimmy G threw for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns.
I'm trying to look at like he went 13-3 2 years ago, but his losses are to Seattle, Baltimore, and Atlanta. So
Good teams.
I mean, minus the Atlanta, but Atlanta 2 years ago is when Matt Ryan was. It's a super. Is that Super Bowl? No, it's 3 years ago.
No,
No,
it
it's 2 years
was
ago. That's 2 years
18.
ago.
Was it? No, it wasn't 2 years ago.
Three seasons ago. Sorry, 3 seasons ago.
Yeah.
Um, but like I can see that. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to jump on the Jimmy G train, but like maybe that is a good place. I don't think Trey Lance is as good as what people say he is, but the fact
I
that
don't
you've
even know
done
how to
so
make
many things,
anything of it.
I
Yeah.
think the only thing you got to make of it is you gave up 3 number 1s to get him, so you have to give him the opportunity to start. You can't not put him on the field, and you can't put Baker Mayfield in front of him. But does he make him better than Jimmy G? Probably. I mean, maybe. Who
All
knows? His team's stacked around him, so yeah, that's a lot of Baker
right.
Mayfield talk, man.
Yeah, we're done with that. That's over with. Good luck, Baker.
Yeah,
Enjoy life. Miami picked up Bridgewater. I wanted to note that one out. I know you're a Dolphins fan.
yeah,
Um,
man.
I didn't know how you felt about it.
I mean, I think they picked up a good enough quarterback that they're obviously all in on Tua. They're given Tua like this will be Tua's last season if they don't go to the playoffs, it's his last season. That's it. You're a
Okay.
playoff or bust type team, and they picked up a guy who, if by week 3, 4, something like that, if he's looking like he doesn't fit the McDaniel system, then they picked up a guy who can at least come in and manage a team and play the old dinker dunk football because that's what that offense is designed to do right now.
Yep.
I don't know. I believe the Dolphins are a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender. Not saying there's a
I
quarterback available, but they are that good on both sides of the football right now. And I don't know what you do after this season because I don't know if you saw a lot of speculations about Tom Brady was asking to part of the deal when
yeah,
he retired.
I saw the
Yeah,
Dolphins thing and everything.
there was a lot of rumors about Tom Brady's the Dolphins only if Sean Payton got the coaching job, and then when they hired McDaniels, he pretty much said no. Then there were some other rumors surface. So I don't know about that. So I would say with Bridgewater coming up, it's a safe bet. Like it's better than having Flacco as your backup. So
I
and I
thought
don't want
something
Baker Mayfield.
crazy. Of course, he had already been signed at this point, but when Hill came over and you guys picked up what's it, Raheem Mustard,
Mr.
I forget his
Yeah,
name, and yeah, another speedster. I thought, man, there is a quarterback out there. He becomes a liability, but maybe he's not if the guys are so fast they're past everybody in the defense. He's got a hand cannon. Um, what about Jameis, man? Maybe
I
Jameis
love
can.
James. I said this in one of our other chats. Like, I like Jameis Winston. Like, I mean, he's a goober, and he clearly does not make great decisions off the field.
He'll throw you
But
30-30.
the dude can throw. I mean,
5,000
like,
yards.
he is an athlete. Like,
Just think about it this way. He literally had a team that could win a Super Bowl, and it was proved because after he left, they won a Super Bowl. Now,
yeah.
Tom Brady moved there. That kind of, it's Tom
Oh yeah.
Brady. I get it, but still, he had the team. He had the guys.
Jameis Winston can play football. He has proved that at all levels, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna look at what his numbers were before he left out last year. So he played in 7 games, right?
I don't want to even know. I want to see his last starting year. That's the most important to me.
Well, his last starting year is 5,000 30. Like that,
Exactly.
right?
And
But
he threw more than 30 touchdowns because he threw at least 10 pick sixes. So we could call it 40.
okay, so his starting numbers weren't great. He was at
Now,
1,200 yards, 7 games, 1,200 yards. But man, why does it?
last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, but look
Um,
who he threw to
but
in New Orleans
but
there.
here's the thing: is he had 14 touchdowns and 3 picks. So the yards weren't there, but he was making great decisions. Like, he's 5-2 as a
Look
starter,
at
and he
that one.
blows his knee out. Like,
That's cheap money for a quarterback who can just
oh, I
launch
mean,
the football.
it was a no-brainer for New Orleans to sign him to another,
Yeah.
prove it 1-year prove it deal. He'll be 28 next year. I think he would be a great commodity. I think New Orleans is stupid. If Taysom Hill is obviously not the answer. You overpaid for a running back who
You
can
overpaid
find.
for Tim Tebow is what you did.
Damn it, that's beautiful because I hate Tim Tebow. Like, Taysom Hill is Tim Tebow. That's it. It's plain and simple. So actually, he's
He
way
just
better than Tim
doesn't
Tebow
pray.
because he's still in the league. So
Yeah, he just doesn't pray every time he does something. So immediately everyone's like, okay, cool.
yeah.
Sorry if I offended anybody.
So let's
It's
ask
my
this, man.
opinion.
It is your opinion. You can throw air quotes. That makes it more official too. So let's ask, as we start wrapping up here soon. Let me ask this: if you had to pick today, and we're going to ask this over the next few weeks, for the
Okay.
show,
Who do I pick to win it?
who do you pick to win it all?
I don't even like that question right now. There's so much. And then so I'd like to say the Rams because the Rams, by technicality, they're still a really good team. They definitely paid Matt Stafford some money. Jesus. But what's the last back-to-back Super Bowl champion?
It has to be Tom Brady.
Okay, so it's
It
been
has to be.
years
It
now,
has to
right?
be. Yeah, not even
It's been
looking at
years.
Tom Brady.
I mean, it's even harder to make it to back-to-back Super Bowls.
You
So,
also lost your number 2 and number 3 receiver because nobody knows what Odell's doing right now, right? Von Miller's
yep.
gone. A little bit of pressure off the defensive line.
Woods. I think they got a 6th-round pick to Tennessee. Good pickup on Tennessee because they got rid of Julio, who did nothing for him, and actually got a wide receiver that might actually do something.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's hard to not say Kansas City every year. It really is. Andy Reid is going to take a team to a conference championship game. You just don't know if he's going to get them over the hump. And that seems to be the big thing. Cincinnati's improved their line, so maybe that helps. Maybe it was a fluke. Maybe they made it, and it was just wild circumstances. I don't know. Tampa Bay, Tom Brady's there. Is Gronk going to stay there? It hasn't been officialized yet, but
he's going to sign with him.
Yeah, they picked up the dude out of Atlanta, the wide receiver. What was his name?
Not
Gage.
Calvin Ridley.
No, Russell Gage.
Yeah.
They picked him up, so they got another wide receiver, Calvin Ridley, man. We go down a whole nother talk there.
They're going to get Godwin on the cheap, too. Like, and with Evans.
I think they tried tagging him, didn't they?
They did tag him.
Yeah, okay.
So, and I think he's definitely going to sign that deal just because coming off a knee injury like that. I'm going to pick the Bucks just because I told you I'm never going to pick against. I said I would never pick against a Brady and Belichick combo. but it's kind of hard to pick against Brady now. I think the AFC is getting really tough, and they're going to, there's injuries that are really going to separate that conference. But I don't know, man. The Bucks are still going to be solid, and we're talking, the third week of March, who I would pick to win the Super Bowl.
Maybe the
Um,
Bills. Maybe that's who I pick.
all right, I
It's
like it.
it's tough for those guys to go out though, and like the AFC, like you said, is just a murder factory of football.
Yeah.
But I like the Bills. I like Allen. Maybe they change
Oh yeah.
the overtime rules and he gets a chance.
It won't be for this season, but yeah.
Nah,
Um,
I did see teams did put in for changes for it though, to where I saw one change that was put in was both teams get a shot no matter what the score is, and if one team's winning after the second shot, it's over then.
you have
Uh,
to. They have
I
to. It
did
will get
see
changed.
10-minute quarter, and you play that out till it's over, and if it's not, then it keeps going. And to me, I'm like, perfect. Why not? It's football. It's the end of the year. Play football.
You just hate to see the implications of a game like that Kansas City and Buffalo game that comes down to just it's a coin toss.
Yeah,
Like
it
it's so
sucks.
stupid. I would rather you actually flip a coin than just waste our time with watching that nonsense that happens at the end of that game. Like I mean, obviously I don't want to watch a coin toss to end a game, but like some changes will have to be made. Like some changes will absolutely have to be made, but like it's just crazy to think that I don't know. Something's going to happen to that, but who
It's
knows, man?
got to change, man.
My pick is absolutely going to change every single week. I can promise you that. So,
I
at
love
some
it.
at some
That's
point,
that's what I want to hear.
I'll smash some beers come July and say the Dolphins are going to win it all because I say they're going to win the Super Bowl every year. So,
All right, so we've got some NFL free agents that are left out there, some big ones. There's some guys I don't think will go anywhere different, like Gronk's on there still, but I think Gronk's going to Tampa Bay or nothing else, to be honest with you. But you got guys like it's OBJ. You talked about him. Wide receivers are kind of the divas. You never know what they're going to do.
I mean, I could really see him going back to Cleveland just for the fact. I know there's been a lot of the chatter, but like, why wouldn't you go back to Deshaun Watson? Or here's a great opportunity for, hey, you're coming off a late season injury. You obviously can produce. This is one of those times when the Rams can step in and be like, prove it that you can come here.
Yeah,
Take a deal right now. We'll pay you on the back end, which they won't, or
I like
sign
it.
a trade. But yeah, I think Brock has been waiting because the whole Tom. I mean, obviously he's been waiting because of what Tom's going to do, but I
Yeah,
think he was
yeah.
waiting to see if he was going to sign with another team because he kind of helps still if he signs as a free agent, he can take a pay cut here and there. So I have a hard time believing Gronk doesn't play this year. But I mean, that
All
dude,
right, what do you got? I've seen this guy on Miami chats here recently. The old honey badger himself. What's it? Tyron Matthew.
I I haven't seen him on any of the other platforms I've been reading as far as the like Fanatics and stuff like that. But I mean, the dude can ball. The
Yeah,
dude can ball. Pick him up.
yeah.
I don't know if was he actually listed as a free safety or as a strong safety. I don't think it really matters. But if you need
He's
anything,
30. He's still got age.
oh my
You got
God, he's
Bobby
30 years
Wagner.
old. Jesus,
Yeah, you got Bobby Wagner still.
Wagner will sign with the team. It's a Super Bowl contender. Like, and you better be ready to pay him. I mean, the dude's been All Pro 8 of 9 years. I think is what it was.
Why did they cut him? I don't get it. Why did they release
Makes
him?
makes no sense. You didn't set yourself up to win a championship by cutting him. You keep him there unless he asks to be cut. Now that may be the thing, but I would say come about a month or two from now after the draft, whoever is the premier Super Bowl team and has $10 million plus a cap space, which may not exist. That's who's going to sign Wagner.
Yeah.
Wagner's phenomenal. I can't believe he should never even be a free agent. It's so stupid.
Who else we got on here? Julio, who I mean really hasn't produced much in Tennessee,
He'll
is
be a
still a
Packer.
wide receiver. Yeah, you
He'll
think
be a
so?
Packer. Yep. He's going to go to one of these, either the Packers or some quarterback who needs to prove something. They're going to get him on a league minimum. Why not?
Okay.
I see him being a Packer all day. If he even plays, he may hang it up too. I mean, it's not like he has like contract money hanging up waiting. So
What about Landry? Old Jarvis Landry.
Where do you put him? Because here's the thing is what kind of money is he going to ask for, right?
I don't know.
Because I
It's
mean,
tough for him though because he's been stuck in that Baker Mayfield offensive shenanigans that were going on up there.
So
So
even
he thinks he wants more than what he statistically puts out for.
you can blame a lot of shit on Baker, but the dude's got like 3,000 yards and 10, 15 touchdowns in 4 years.
There it is. Okay, you
So
put the statistics in.
I would say somebody will get he's a great route runner, great hands, but um, I mean, if the Rams don't sign OBJ, he goes there. I'm sure he wants to play with OBJ. He may go back to Cleveland. I don't know, man. The whole Cleveland dynamic is weird because if Deshaun Watson plays all 17 games next year, and
It's
the
gonna be crazy.
receivers are going to want to play for him, they want to know.
Yeah,
They're going to want to know
yeah.
what he can do.
Yep, I agree with you. I agree with you completely.
I can tell you, he
All
will
right,
not be a Dolphin.
all right, fair enough. All right, what else we got, man? I don't have much else.
I think
I
it's
did want to
really
let you know Chad Henne is still playing football. He got signed as backup for Kansas City for the 5th year in a row. I didn't know that. I was like, wow, Chad Henne's still playing football.
I heard that correctly, right? Chad Henne.
Yes. Look it up.
No shit. Okay. Never would have guessed it.
No, I didn't even. That's why when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, Jared's gonna love this one," and I would have never thought of it because the guy's still playing football.
He's 36. He threw 16 balls last year. I didn't even
There
realize
you
that.
go. And also, Jacksonville on day one of free agency spent $229 million. I don't think it changes anything that's going on in
I
Jacksonville.
can't
Other
really.
than they get a new coach. He's
I
won a
mean,
Super Bowl before.
yeah, but I can't slap a name on it of 200 plus million to be like, man, I really know that you did something good for yourself there. So it's Jacksonville, man. Like
Yep.
I did pick Urban Meyer to win Coach of the Year because I actually thought they were going to win 7 or 8 games. Not that I
I
thought they were
think.
going to go to the playoffs. I don't think
Well,
even.
I think he won Booth of the Year based off of the fact that he didn't know star players in the NFL. He was over there kicking kickers. He was oil checking chicks at bars.
Let
I don't
me.
know what he was thinking.
What's your thoughts? And this is probably what I'll end on. Is what's your thoughts on Trevor Lawrence? Because is he going to be? Is he actually going to pan out to anything that you think he's a number one pick, man?
I think if he goes through 5 coaches and 5 offensive coordinators in 5 years, it's not going to help him.
Yeah, his
and
numbers
then
are pretty bad.
and then you're looking, you're starting that mid part of your career where you're supposed to be looking for big dog money, and you're not getting big dog money. You're getting maybe try for starter positions on another team once that
Yeah,
comes around, which sucks, but that's the way to look at it.
yeah, I agree. I don't know. He's one of those players I'll have my eye on for sure because I mean, he's a big dude, big arm. You want to see him. You want to see him succeed and maybe sign a
Maybe a
big team.
team thinks he's got something, and they know they can get him on the nothing, and they pick him up and give him a shot.
It's probably one of those teams like Tampa Bay 2 years from now picks him up if he just keeps flailing out over here in Jacksonville. So
Tom just teaches him forever, and then he goes on to win 19 Super Bowls.
wins.
And
He wins. It's ridiculous. All right, man. Hey, man.
That's all I got, man.
It's good to be back. We'll keep running with this 7 o'clock Eastern every Sunday until we can't do it. We'll change the schedule for things that happen in the future if we need to. But thank you guys for tuning in. It's the new show. Same to
Statistically Opinionated. Find
Yeah.
us on Facebook. You can go on whatever the podcast things. You can find all the podcasts. Find us on there if you want to listen to us and didn't hear us live. I'm sorry if you watched us for an hour and 14 minutes, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, had a blast. We'll see you guys next week.
Yep. See ya.
End it. There we go.